As a student of the game, like to see a little more creativity. I know it's the pro-style offense, but boy, they went right up the middle 4 straight times. And right up the middle, Brock Osweiler trying to gain a little space for his offense.
You can say creativity, but, you know, I know Eric Bieniemy, who played running back, and John Embry. The power O, where you pull the guard and kick out with your fullback, is one of the staples of running this type of an offense. And if you run the power O twice on the 1-yard line and you can't get in, that says something about your football team. They've got to be able to do that to be successful on offense.
After distance from the goal, 2nd down.
Another penalty on Arizona State. Following the unsportsmanlike conduct call on Vontaze Burfict, and then Jamal Miles tried to sneak in from the end zone, I believe, to check into this game. And then out he goes. Erickson's not chuckling, even though his team's up 34-7. He needs to tighten things up for their next game on the road next week at UCLA against the Bruins. 2nd down and 10 for Osweiler. Marshall goes in motion in the end zone over the middle. The pass is caught by Jarrell Robinson. He has the size and the speed, and out near the 40-yard line for Jarrell Robinson, putting back-to-back-to-back games together. 35-yard hookup with Osweiler.
Well, somebody is catching the ball in the middle of the field. There's a great chance it's Jarrell Robinson. Ray Polk has a chance to try and drill him, but watch Robinson, who is a big athletic specimen at wide receiver, keep that ball, pin it against his helmet, and then get upfield for the extra yards after the catch.
And that's one of the most impressive parts for Jarrell Robinson, too, over the last few games. Back-to-back 100-yard receiving games, but he's been taking some hits and popping back up.
And that's what you like to see. You like to see a guy like that who has those physical gifts not be afraid to get physical and do the dirty work in the middle of the field. And he has made a living catching the ball right around the hash marks on that little quick seam pass from Osweiler.
It's Osweiler again, steps into this pass, and it's a beauty to Jarrell Robinson. Just having a bust-out time in his last 6 or 7 games of college football. That went for 19 yards.
Robinson, a guy who really up until this season never really reached his potential. He had a lot of different nagging injuries, and you know, I think maturity finally started to kick in this season, and he's been a different player around his teammates, doing the little things, working his behind off to try and be a better football player, and you can see that it's paid off for both him and the rest of the team.
And I think NFL scouts are taking notice of Jarrell Robinson. Like you said, he's always had that NFL size, and now showing the skill as well. Not much doing for Cameron Marshall on that last rushing attempt. Going for another 100-yard gain himself on the ground. 2nd and 10. With 1:25 to go here in the 3rd quarter. Osweiler, good protection in the pocket, lets it fly and tipped away. The intended target was Kevin Ozier, who had a touchdown reception, his first career TD reception. Earlier in the game, it was batted away by Ray Polk.
Well, and finally, a member of the secondary for the Buffaloes makes a play. Ray Polk, great position right there, plays the ball perfectly. And he's been one of their biggest playmakers this year. You mentioned he's been very beat up, one of the toughest guys on this defense.
And Embry's saying, too, he has the skills and the speed to play on Sundays. Maybe the fastest guy on the team. Ray Polk, the junior, out of Brophy Prep here in Phoenix. And he chose Colorado over ASU, saying he fell in love with the Colorado area and wanted to go out of state. Osweiler deep. He has a man open. And overshoots Jarrell Robinson. It'll be 4th down, and the punting unit will come out.
What they do is they try and bring Robinson from one hash mark to the other, kind of run a 4 vertical concept to stretch the zone defense for the Buffaloes. And he got behind the secondary, but Brock just put too much under that one. And Jarrell Robinson, as fast and as physical he is, just couldn't catch up with that ball.
Keenan Canty back to receive the Hubner punt, and he will call for a fair catch, but loses it. ASU had 3 players right there. We'll wait and see if they were able to recover. It's a wrestling match at the 13-yard line. Keenan Canty called for the fair catch, but couldn't field the punt cleanly. ASU recovers at the 13-yard line. Out of the pack was Granville Taylor, the backup linebacker.
Oh, when it rains, it pours, and it's been raining cats and dogs for the Colorado Buffaloes. So many mistakes, you just can't overcome that when you're playing a good team like the Sun Devils.
Fourth turnover committed by Colorado, another freshman mistake, Adam.
Well, you wonder, how do you muff a punt when you're a returner? This is why. What you have to do is you got to move laterally, get your shoulders square to the football, and get your feet under you. That's what they're going to work on him next week with the special teams coach in practice. You can't lean with your upper body and lunge for the football. That's going to be a muff punt every time.
Over 20 freshmen have played this season for Colorado. Cameron Marshall around the edge, diving for the end zone. Comes up just short. They will mark it at the 4.
Watch the block by Mike Marcise right here. Come around the corner. Just puts a wall up. I'm not sure exactly who it was, but just crushes the defensive end. It might be number 83, Will Precheck. But that allows Cameron Marshall to get to the corner and almost get into the end zone.
And a solid block coming from Jamal Miles, who's in the backfield along with Christopher Coyle. Fake to Marshall and then overthrowing Jamal Miles. It was not one of those backward passes which was so costly for the Devils earlier in this game. It'll be 3rd down and 1 from the 4-yard line. Osweiler putting together another solid performance. A natural-born leader, according to Dennis Erickson. One of his wideouts, Mike Willie, said, "I'd go to battle anytime with that cat." Brock Osweiler hands it off to Marshall, untouched again into the end zone. His 3rd rushing touchdown. He goes in from 4 yards out, and it's the 2nd time today that nobody put a fingerprint on him.
Well, again, the second level up the middle for the Colorado defense seems to be non-existent. Garth Gerhardt kind of pulls around there, gets in the way of the linebacker, Derek Webb. But it's been easy rolling downhill for Cameron Marshall and company once they get past that first wave of the Buffalo defensive line.
Good to go for Garut. 3rd rushing touchdown for Cameron Marshall, who has amassed 114 yards on the ground. That's his 4th career 100-yard game. And ASU now on top 41-7 with 28 seconds to go here in the 3rd quarter. Mentioned next up at UCLA next Saturday, 4:30 p.m. Phoenix time from the Rose Bowl in Pasadena. A big-time Pac-12 South matchup. Of course, the Bruins were throttled by the Wildcats last week in the debut of University of Arizona interim head coach Tim Kish. This week's the Bruins are hosting the Cal Bears. As you take a look at the remaining games for Arizona State, and a lot of people feel like this schedule lightening up in the final 5 games, including Colorado. The final 5 opponents have a combined record of 13-23.
Well, they on paper, they should be able to go out there and take care of business. That's why the last 5 games were so critical for the Devils to go out there and win the majority of them.